I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of The Last of Us?
Not
No.
yet.
Well, I just watched the first episode with some friends here in Portland, and
Mhm.
let me say, it's all right.
What
It's
do you mean
fine.
it's all right?
Dude, I feel like online people are blowing up. People are going crazy about this show. They are like literally like orgasming in the wake of this show. Like,
Well, Teva, I have a question for you.
okay, yeah.
When's the last time you watched the first episode of a show and were immediately like, this is it? This is the show?
Oh. Uh I feel like I've watched first episodes of shows and been like, I'm down.
Mm.
And I watched the first episode of this show and I was like, yeah, I can watch more with friends. That's fine. It's like a little different.
I guess.
I think
I
there's
don't know.
been, I don't know. There's like a few shows where I've watched. I'm just like, yeah, this show's sick. I don't know. I feel like I have a pretty good gauge of like what I'll enjoy off the bat. There's only been ever a few shows I think that kind of caught me by surprise.
I I feel like there are definitely shows where like the first episode just like instantly grips you and you just get into it and you're like, "Oh, this is really good." Like
Yeah.
like I know for me, the show that I think has the most memorable like episode 1 in my opinion is Psychopaths,
Mm.
which we have all watched together because it's basically like it's a dystopian like police crime series and like the first episode is just a new recruit like instantly being put into the job and it's really cool because we as the viewer are like in the same position as the new recruit where we have no idea what's going on and like the everything just happens around us.
Yeah, I think as like a literary device, I would say it's like that kind of setup can be pretty gripping.
Yeah.
Like, because you as someone who's new to the world are experiencing with the character who's new to the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for most shows, like episode 1 isn't always going to be a banger. And I don't know, Teva.
Are you
I think
defending The Last of Us?
I'm defending a show I've never watched.
I have a question. Have
Yeah.
you played the game?
No.
Have you watched the game?
No.
Okay, I only ask because it feel like it's one of those things where maybe people end up enjoying it more because they've watched. I know a lot of people have been hyping it up and they probably haven't played it.
Yeah.
But it's probably one of those things where obviously if you have played the game, it's a lot more enjoyable.
I'm sure that's true. Like it's like a nostalgia trip. Like also if you've like played the game, right? Because it's like I don't know exactly if it's like the exact same or just similar characters or stories or what it is, but like it's definitely like
So
related.
from having watched game like the entirety of The Last of Us as a game,
Yeah.
my assumption with the actual TV show is it's not like Arcane. And we've mentioned before where Arcane's a show where you can watch it without having any prior knowledge of League at all whatsoever and
Yeah.
still have it be a very good standalone show. And I'm sure for The Last of Us, it still is a great standalone show.
Yeah.
However, it follows a very specific core set of characters and a very specific storyline as far as I can figure. And I could be just talking out of my ass here. I'm actually, again, I haven't watched the show, but just from the actual source material,
Yeah.
I don't see how they could do it any other way other than doing side stories outside of it. But they would still have to introduce the characters and everything. So I assume it still follows a very similar storyline.
Yeah, I've heard it gets more like character side story in later episodes. I just had the funny thought that like two people who have never seen The Last of Us and one guy who just watched the first episode harshly criticized The Last of Us show.
I don't know. Eric, I thought you were gonna say like it's like Arcane where the show is not at all like the story in the game, like the gameplay. I think The Last of Us, like the show, from what I've heard, follows the game pretty closely in terms of story beats and characters. And also from the tweets I've seen, people have been saying like a lot of this captures the tension that you feel in some moments of gameplay pretty well.
That's kind of what I figured, just from looking at literal just screens of the actual show itself. It really does seem like, yeah, they're just trying to follow the actual game. Because it makes sense, right? You have this very, very popular game with a very solid, I say solid, it has a story to it that has two characters that you follow throughout the time, and it makes sense that they would try to emulate that exact experience through a show.
Like every time whenever it came out, Last of Us Part Two, it was like contender or was like game of the year, like in like a bunch of like different things, right? Like it's like a very strong game series that people love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me at all that that is the way that they went with it.
yeah. You know what else people love?
What do they love?
No.
God,
You know what
let's be
we've been
honest.
getting a lot of?
Would it be Frozen Rain by any chance?
Dude, it has been a crazy week in Portland.
Yeah, I
So
saw some of the pictures that you sent, which I'll be honest, I'm kind of jealous. But this comes from, I guess, by all means, a place of privilege where we don't have to deal with these type of conditions.
usually we don't either. This is insane. So, as of recording this, last weekend was the Portland snowpocalypse, as like a lot of people on social media are calling it, where Portland, a city that normally gets like a little bit of snow maybe each year, in one day got something close to like 10 inches of snow, like almost a full foot of snow in one day.
I
It
didn't realize it was that much snow.
It is the second highest snowfall in Portland since they started recording in the 40s. So like this has only happened to this degree or worse one time in like the past 80 years. So it's pretty bad. And this is a city that has like no infrastructure around around it snowing and the roads becoming icy. Like normally like in a city like Boston or Chicago, they'll have the plows ready. They'll like ready the forecast and they will like clear off the major roads and make sure that like things can function. I unfortunately had to drive Wednesday night
Ooh.
when the roads were at their iciest. And there were multiple times when I was just driving down the road and you just see cars like stranded in the ice, like stuck, unable to get out. I had a close call myself because I was basically trying to take a friend back home, and the issue was to get there, I needed to like cross the river, so I needed to cross a bridge, and I couldn't take the freeway because the freeway was all backed up.
You're having an Oregon Trail experience.
This is my Oregon Trail.
We really are experiencing our own Oregon Trail daily.
And so there's like a bridge that's like pretty convenient that's like close to where I live that I can take. The issue is to get to that bridge you have to go up a hill. Now,
Ooh.
normally this is pretty trivial, but when the roads are icy, if you do not have like snow tires or snow tracks or snow treads, whatever they're called, it can be hard to get up hills. And so as we go up this hill, there's like a lady who's stuck in her car ahead of us, like flooring the gas and going nowhere. She cannot get up this hill. And we're like, ooh, this is bad and risky, and we are right behind her. So we start like backing up to go away, and she gets out of her car and starts walking towards us. And we're like, oh no,
God.
a stranger. She's gonna talk to us. And so she comes up to talk to us and is like, hey, my car's stuck. Do you think you could like help push it? And I'm just like, you asked the wrong person. I'm sorry. Physical labor, ew, yuck. But also just like I don't think I'm the right person to help with like anything snow or ice related. As our conversation with this lady is happening, two more cars like come up and try to pass this lady like on the left of her car. One of which probably has all-wheel drive, gets stuck and like barely like gets past her. The other car, like you can tell, clearly gets stuck the same way this lady's car is and starts sliding backwards.
Oh no.
And so in that moment, we are both like, we are very sorry. We are going to back up this hill and find another way that doesn't involve going up like crossing the river that doesn't involve going up this hill. Good luck. We are sorry, and just immediately leave. Before this car like slides into us from behind and we become another like victim of the Portland snowpocalypse.
Is that your first time experiencing driving within that kind of snow?
Yes, it is the first and hopefully last time I will ever drive in like such snow with such icy roads. Like it was just so bad. And like there were a few times where I could tell it's like, oh, I need to be careful. Like I will not have control of my vehicle. Like in the net for like over the course of the next like few like miles or not miles but like feet of road.
Were you guys also getting rained along with the snow as well too?
No, this was like after, and this was like pretty pure snow at this point. Like it
Mm.
was cold and it was just snow.
Yeah, because that's something that's the scariest thing by far is black ice, where it
Right.
starts sleeting and that's where it just completely freezes over. And it doesn't matter what you have, like you will not have traction on that. And that's always
Yeah.
the scariest thing.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm concerned about it is because I don't know if you remember, we do have a plan for a Tahoe trip this next week. As in, by tomorrow next week, we will be driving to Tahoe, should things hold up. But things may not be holding up because apparently this Monday, they're going to be getting 8 inches of snow in one day.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Yeah.
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 And that
things don't work
is a
when that
lot
happens.
of snow.
Or like a presumably a mountain drive, like a
Yeah.
yeah.
So we don't know. We have to kind of plan around things. I love the snow personally. It's one of my favorite
I know
things.
you do.
And I'm dying to see it, but I don't want to see it to my grave because
Yeah, you're dying to see it, but you're not dying to see it.
I'm dying to see it because I've never driven in the snow before, and I'm not quite sure if going into a winter storm through a mountain is the best way to get that experience.
Yeah, definitely
firsthand.
not your first snow trip.
Probably not. So we'll have to see. We're still in the talks of figuring that out. I don't even have tires, snow tires or chains for my car, so we'll really have to play it out to see how things go.
But you do have a Subaru Outback, and that car can do pretty much anything. So you know.
Yeah, I can at least move an entire apartment in it, so that's kind of cool.
That's cool. Yeah, no, dude. I was having this debate with a friend in Portland how like the Subaru Outback is like the like Omni car, like it just does it all.
Yeah, it's like the Honda Odyssey of SUVs.
It is the Honda Odyssey of SUVs. That is a fair point. I just think it looks ugly. And and is like so popular that it is, as you know, like a common target for theft.
I will not stand for this Subaru Outback slander. I will have you know, but I also am not a liar, and I have to agree because it's not the prettiest of looking cars out there.
No,
but man, does it get you where you need to be?
Yeah, it does its function really, really well.
It also likes to leak a lot of oil, but that's neither here nor there.
Wow. Oopsie.
Really don't worry about that one until it's an issue. But it's legitimately like I'm a very utilitarian person. End of the day, you can just see that in the way that I wear my clothes. Like everyone at work probably just knows me as that guy who just wears that one set of pants with the different colors and those 2 t-shirts with 2 different colors. Like that's about it. I'm pretty sure that's how anyone ever sees me as. And I feel like that reflects in my car as well too. Like, hey, it gets me from point A to point B in a pretty safe fashion. It works. It's cool enough, you know? That's all I really did.
Dude, it's kind of funny because like when you said that, I'm like, you know how like characters in like TV shows, like they only have their one outfit because it's like way easier to draw them and everything in their one outfit or like show them in their one outfit. You're just a character in a TV show. You like I know the black shirt and like brown tan pants that you wear like 90% of the time.
Hey, and that other 10%, it's when it's a blue shirt, and that's where we're really keeping things spicy.
Mixing it up, yeah.
Oof. Oh man, on those Wednesdays and maybe Fridays, we're looking good on those days.
He was wearing the blue shirt.
Wow, we found a shiny Eric.
Again, maybe it's one of those spotlight effects things where I think people notice it, but someone has to have noticed it at this point because when I dress up for work, again, I have the same model, well, if you want to call it a model, the same set of pants, and I rotate between 3 colors. And the way that it always goes is, let's say I have the black one, the gray one, and the beige one. I'll wear the beige one on, like, say, a Monday, and then I'll switch to any one of the 2 colors then. And then on the day after, I'll wear the beige one again. So that way, the day after that, I can wear maybe the 3rd color.
Eric, do you only have 3 pairs of pants?
Okay, no. But they're the ones that fit me right now.
Wait, that was oddly like suspicious no.
Yeah, that was the most suspicious no I've ever.
Look, I have other pairs of pants, and my brand, I love this brand, Prana. I'll show for them if they want to sponsor this. Please do. I love your pants. God, I will show it to every other person.
There's no way we're getting a Prana sponsorship, but you definitely would want one.
Look, I have prana jeans, except I've gone to that point where I've gained enough weight where some of those pants don't fit me nearly as well as they used
Okay,
to.
Eric, that no is a yes. You only have 3 pairs of pants.
Look, I will show you. I will send you a picture of all the jeans that I have that I haven't worn in probably about 3, 4, 5 years.
You know,
They're up
someone
there.
brought that up with me recently.
Yeah.
He was like, this was at the barbecue night we had at my place. He's like, how does it feel to live your life in jeans? I'm
Wait,
like,
what?
yeah, no, like, I'm like, what? This friend of ours, like, I think right now he mainly wears like sweatpants. And I don't know, I just thought it was an odd question because I've never really thought about it. People say other pants are more comfortable, and I just don't notice.
Yeah, but like sure, there are more comfortable pants, but you know what makes you feel comfortable? Looking good.
And you know what?
Yeah,
Prana
right.
pants, they make you look good, and they're also
How do you,
comfortable
Mr.
and functional.
And that's
You
why
have
we'd
3
like
pairs
to
of pants. 3 pairs of pants.
Hey, look. I value, again, utilitarian and a lot of function over form. But if that function over form also just happens to look pretty decent, I'll wear that. You best bet I'll fucking wear that.
And you know what encapsulates that? The sponsor of today's episode, Prana. Whatever the fuck Prana sells, we're sponsoring it. No,
You know what?
we're not.
I know what you're getting for your Christmas and your birthday, buddy. Just you wait.
I know
No.
what you need for your Christmas. More pants.
Look. Again, as long as I'm comfortable, that's all I really care.
How often do you wash your pants, Luke?
Oh, I probably wash my pants more than I should.
Like,
I mean, if it's denim, who cares?
like how many times do you think you can wear a pair of pants before you need to wash them? Do you think?
I used to be more lax about this, but now I'm like, I don't want to take any chances.
With any chance? With what?
I don't. When you poop in
What?
your pants, what does that mean?
But I don't know. I
Can't be
just
caught.
rather have a fresh pair of pants every day.
No, a one and done kind of guy. You one and done your pants?
I do.
How
Holy.
How many?
I have at least 7 pairs of pants.
Wow, one for each day. What
Oh my
Do you
God.
plan those out too every day?
Rather than a half for each day.
Dude,
Uh,
wait. Do you have 7 shirts? Do you have like Monday outfit, Tuesday outfit, like just one
That's what
outfit
I'm
for every
wondering,
day of the week?
No.
You
I have
can be
more
pretty
shirts.
type A.
I have
You can
more
be
shirts than
pretty type.
pants.
That
sure.
I know. That I
Yeah.
know.
Well,
Do
that
you plan those out? Like, do you say like on a Monday through Friday basis? Do you think that you're like, all right, this is my Monday pants?
No,
This-
that's like very, very particular specific behavior.
You
I'm
can
like,
just say it's psychopathic. Yeah, it is.
hey,
But you're
man,
coming close. Like,
me coming close to psychopathic?
at that
Explain.
point, because you only wear your pants once each
Yeah,
time.
no, I don't know. I want to be a clean man.
And
You
so
are a
you know
clean
me,
man.
and so do I. But the real question now is because you probably know where I stand on it. But Teva,
What?
where do you stand? What's the max that you'll go with your pants?
I'm about to judge you guys real hard.
I
hope you're
feel
ready.
like there's a gradient here, and I know where I stand on this gradient. I'm kind of curious to know where Teva does.
So I kind of do what Eric does also, which is like I'll switch up which pair of dirty pants I wear each day to make it seem like I'm wearing different pants. But like I feel like I can definitely easily wear like if I have like a rotation of like 4 or 5 pants, I can easily use those for like over 2 weeks.
So I'm gonna do the math here. 2 weeks is 14 days.
Yeah.
And you said you have 4?
Well, yeah.
That's between
say-
3 and 4 uses per pair of pants.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So I'll let you know that's about where I assumed our gradient was. That being said, you can probably figure out how the max that I'm typically willing to wear my pants.
1 month.
8 uses each.
There, you got me.
Oh
Guilty as
Oh
charged.
my god.
dear lord.
No,
I mean,
I'm definitely because just by use, because I don't really leave my house on weekends, I don't have to ever wear my pants more than twice, and that's what works out for me. And that's because I really restrict myself to 3 pairs of pants anyway.
How often do you have to
Jesus
wash your pants?
Christ.
Like, do you wash it every 2 weeks, every month?
Every
or-
week.
Oh,
For
that's
me,
not
it's
bad.
every week.
That's not
Yeah,
bad.
I'm a clean person.
Oh, you're cleaner than I am. What the fuck?
I know I am.
No, you
You're
don't say
disgusting.
that. No.
You're gross.
No.
I smell
I'm the
beautiful.
cleanest person here by far if we're going by pants washes.
My pants washes.
And you know that is the metric. That is the golden standard here in America. I'm sure.
I don't know. I just feel like obviously, you know, the underlayers. Oh my. What's going on,
Speaking
bud?
of which, that's my laundry.
Oh. All right. It's okay. We'll fill. No, I feel like it's the underlayers that matter because that's like where you like sweat the most and get dirty. And like
Legs
obviously
don't sweat?
what?
Your legs don't sweat?
I feel like they don't.
I don't know, man.
I feel like
Okay. So I was wondering that. Do you think your outside layer is dirty or your inside layer is dirty?
definitely the outside.
I don't know.
I'm a clean
Interesting.
man.
They're dirtier in different ways.
They are dirtier in different ways.
Like
Not me though. I have those full Chinese genes, so I have something that you guys don't.
Oh
have.
my
Or
god.
the other way around. I don't got something that you guys have.
All right, we get it. Dude. I'm telling. I
Well-
don't get that, dude. I feel like
okay, talking outside layer versus inside layer. Like outside layer, I'm not wearing all the time, right? I'll like take my coat on and off or take my jacket on and off if I'm like whenever I feel cold.
okay.
But if I'm at like a restaurant, my outside layer is much more likely to end up smelling like food. Straight up. And then I'm like, I can't wear this anymore. This smells like fun now.
I
like,
have some
I can't wear
PTSD
this anymore.
flashbacks.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like when you said inside outside layer. I thought you meant like the inside of your pants versus the outside of your pants.
No,
like,
I thought he meant like underwear versus pants versus
Oh,
like
okay. Well,
t-shirt.
if we're talking about like underwear, yeah. I mean,
Like, obviously,
that's
underwear
dirty
and
as
shirt
hell,
we
like-
can agree is a one and done. That's
Yeah.
That's basic like hygiene.
I just want to go on a quick tangent and say, Teva, do you want to know what the worst car ride in my life was?
I'm curious to see how it relates.
Because I think if we mentioned it before, but one of the ones, and this is probably the one that people hear most about, is when Luke and I drove back from San Diego during midday. And that was one of the worst drives in my life because it was under the burning hot sun with Knox in our lap. One of ours.
Oh.
Because there wasn't enough room for Knox to sit anywhere else because of
Yeah.
the ice cream machine.
It's like,
Sorry, back up.
perfectly. We packed the car perfectly.
No, you didn't.
You're like, awesome, great. Knox can sit in the back seat. We've left this space for her. We get lunch with my aunt in Orange County, and she's like, Luke, I have this gift for you. It's an ice cream machine. This huge box with an ice cream machine.
No, dude.
And we're like, okay, all right, I guess we have to put the ice cream machine on the seat where Knox was going to sit. Because everywhere else was like crammed full.
It's literally Luke and mine stuff for pretty much the entirety of the summer
Right.
that we needed. So it was a lot of shit. And it was a small little Acura Integra.
Right.
And that car is not a big car.
It was not a Subaru Outback.
It is not a Subaru Outback.
No.
So at that point, as we start driving home, back from lunch, we're like, damn, we still have about 5 hours of driving. A lot of that through I-5 on that complete straightaway, which is about 2.5 hours of straight driving.
Mhm.
And when I mean straight, I mean literally straight. Under the beaming hot sun. And we have a 65-pound dog in the passenger's lap.
Yep.
It was absolutely miserable.
And you are the passenger, or was
I was the passenger.
Luke was the passenger?
I fell asleep and I was trying to keep Knox away from the center console because her butt would shift gears.
Oh
And I woke up with Eric yelling at Knox because my hand moved. She slipped out of my hand and she shifted us into neutral.
Her ass literally almost got us killed.
God.
But
No.
all that being said, and again, that was an awful drive. There was a drive recently that actually overtook that as being one of the worst driving experiences of my life.
Oh no.
And
Oh,
that was
God.
going to, I believe it was our Thanksgiving party at our
Oh,
friend's
no.
new place. Because, of course, if you go to a Thanksgiving party, you're going to bring food to a potluck. That's just standard process. And Luke, that night, decided to cook Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Brussels sprouts?
Nothing. They're fantastic foods. I
They're
think they're really
great.
tasty. The downside is when he wears the same clothes that he cooked with, and he sits in the same car as you with the windows up. And the entire time, like I try to make it as not apparent as possible because I'm like, I don't wanna like shit on Luke at all. But my fucking god, he smells like ass right now. Like, I was just sitting there in the car, like I was silently just going.
No, you weren't silent. I opened the windows.
I was trying to be as like calm about it as possible.
Wait, how bad are these Brussels sprouts? Why do they smell
Dude,
bad?
I do not think you understand how it's literal. I'm pretty sure, if I remember properly, that has the same it has sulfuric compounds in Brussels sprouts.
Do they?
So they are a very pungent vegetable, especially when it tracks onto clothing and you're sitting in a stale, non-circulated car. So the entire time when Luke's driving me, I'm sitting there like trying not to make a big deal out of it. And then at some point I just go like, Luke, can we roll down the window, please? Like it smells like Brussels sprouts. In here.
Look. I'll have you know, at least 3 people asked me for the recipe that night.
Dude, so
I
they were
must have
good.
done something right.
They probably asked you because they know how to avoid that shit, so they don't have to cook it.
Luke, what's that scent you're wearing? What's the recipe?
Ooh, who are you wearing?
Yes,
Oh,
de
it was
Brussels.
legitimately so awful. Like, because the worst part is I just didn't want to make it. I didn't want to be like a little shit about it. I don't want to make a big deal about it. But the entire time I'm just stewing here, like, oh my god, my nostrils are just being completely violated.
Oh, I think you made a big deal.
Let me do you one worse.
Ooh.
I went up to San Francisco with our good climbing buddy, and we like hit up the gyms in one of the gyms in SF, and for dinner we decided we go to a Korean restaurant, like a nice Korean restaurant or not like a nice, you know what I mean, a good Korean restaurant,
Classic Korean place, you know.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
you know, like fried chicken and beer, all that kind of stuff, and so we get the garlic honey
Ooh.
fried chicken, and we eat that, and it's good, but it's Korean food, so you know when they say garlic, they're not holding back. And so the two of us get in the car, drive all the way back from San Francisco to our hometown, which is like an hour drive. I drop him off, I go to bed, wake up the next day, shower, get ready for work, get in my car, it smells so strongly of garlic.
Oh my god, you didn't bring the food in with you, did you? It was just
We finished the food. We just
Oh,
hotboxed my car with our garlic breath.
You know,
dude.
how long ago was this?
This was it was
3
a
weeks
few
ago.
months ago. No,
Was it a few
this
months?
was months ago. This was months
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember getting to Luke's car recently, and maybe it was a complete bias, but I swear it still smelled like Brussels sprouts.
Oh my
No.
god, you're just
Like,
traumatized. The
Okay,
Brussels
it's
sprouts.
upholstery tracks scent like
Yeah.
nothing else. And so when I walked in, I was like, there's still like this weird tinge at the very back of my nose, and I like could not place it for a while, and I was like, oh my god, it smells sulfuric.
Hey man, it's an old car. It was driven by an old man. Like, you know, who's to
Dude.
say?
I think the
And
worst.
all that to say is old people smell like sulfur.
Yep, that's the takeaway.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway from today.
I was gonna say, I think the worst offender for sure of like things that like track smell and like are just awful to smell after is Korean barbecue, like all you can eat as a whole. Because there's like so much meat smoke going on, and it like every time, like without fail, I'll wear a jacket to Korean barbecue. I will get up like the next morning, smell the jacket, and just be like sickeningly assaulted with the scent of Korean barbecue.
Yeah. I think honestly pho is like also kind of like that.
That's fair,
That's I was about to bring that up because pho is one of those things where whatever it is, whenever you go to any pho restaurant, you come out of it smelling like that restaurant. Like,
Yeah,
there's
imagine
no
working there.
avoiding it. Imagine working there
yeah.
for the better part of a
geez.
summer.
That was honestly like every time we go to Korean barbecue, I feel so bad for the people working there because I'm like their clothes must be destroyed, they must be ruined. Like
Yeah, they probably
kicked
have to
outside.
have like multiple work uniforms because I know like
yeah,
a lot of places will have like a work uniform at Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
They probably are washing that every night.
It's so bad. What's the point? It's just
They're
gonna
not
smell.
getting 3 to 4 uses out of those.
Oh,
It's
no.
just grease
Definitely
up
not.
the hell. Yeah, it's not a good time. Like that's where, for me, for that exact reason, I don't even cook anything once I've showered. The moment I've showered, I do not go anywhere near the kitchen, especially if there's grease flying anywhere, because
That's
that grease smell. I have a very sensitive sense of smell, so that stuff bugs me to no end. And it does not help that I have long hair now too.
That's funny and super fair. I have a similar thing, except it's just like once I have showered, I will not go outside like ever again to like experience like the world. Like once I've showered, I'm
Yes.
like locked in my house.
I know.
Do you shower
Luke
for
is
yourself
different.
or do you shower for other people?
I shower for me.
I think I'm on the shower for me end as well too, because we kind of touched upon this, but I hold myself to a higher standard than I would hold other people. So if I'm clean for myself, that means I'm also an extension clean for other people. So you're welcome, society.
You're like, it's okay if you don't shower every day, but I need to shower every day.
I hold myself to a higher standard by wearing my pants twice before washing them.
Look,
Oh my god.
by all means, like I'm with you on that one, Tim, and you know how particular I am, but I know we share that in common where the moment we're showered, outside world is dead.
It's
It
done.
doesn't exist anymore. I am ass planted at home. I refuse to go outside. Before that, if I'm not showered yet and I'm still in my work clothes or I have my keys on me, you tell me to run an errand, I'll run that errand, no problem. But the moment I am changed out and showered, good luck. You're talking to a wall at that point.
You
My
better be
ass ain't
damn
moving.
important. You better be dying.
You better be actually dying. Yeah, it legitimately is one of those things where it's my biggest hang up. I'm cozy. I'm clean and cozy. I don't want to have to rinse or shower again. That's it. It's done. It's a done deal.
What about you, Luke? Do you shower for you or do you shower for the world?
I shower for the world, which is also this is like the opposite of what Eric said. He's like, I hold myself to a higher standard, which means that I'm great for other people. I shower for other people, which is good for me.
Wait,
Damn.
wait.
That's a lot to unpack.
You lost me there. You shower for other people.
Well, okay. Well,
Because you
also I
hold-
shower for myself. Hygiene is important.
Yeah.
Let's not like don't get it twisted.
Don't get it
Hygiene
twisted.
is important, but I think I shower in the morning because I want to be smelling fresh.
Dude, Luke, I think you are one of the most vain people I know in like the least like offensive way. But I love it. And I feel like vain is the wrong word, even though we use it all the time. Like, oh my god, Luke is so vain. You're
Absolutely
very
veiny.
People say that.
Wait,
I
really?
need to have a talk with them.
Wait, literally everyone I know. What? You haven't? Oh.
Ooh, hey, you.
Yes.
Can we edit that out? You know.
Sorry. Let me take it from the top. On 3. Luke is very conscientious about how he looks and how he appears to the world.
And this is something that's news to everyone else.
Oh yeah, no one knew that.
Yeah, but I feel like you are particular about it, and just this whole like I shower for the world thing is only emphasizing that. Like,
I don't know. It's like I'm fine with if only I am influenced by the consequences of my actions, then that's fine.
So,
But if other people are inflicted psychic damage by the consequences of my actions, I would feel terrible.
So, quick thought experiment, because, Luke, as you know, for me, I'm very much a shower and immediately go to bed kind of a person, right? Or there's not much of a barrier between me being clean and me going to bed, right?
Yeah.
And for you, I know you're a morning shower person and then you go to bed afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Or not afterwards, but at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I wake up, take a shower, go back to sleep.
Part of me smelling good is coming out of my bed because my bed smells fresh and clean because I come from the shower and straight into bed. So when I wake up in the morning, I smell as clean as I did when I showered. And because I have fresh clothes as well too, it all smells pretty darn good. Maybe you smell worse because you shower in the morning.
No,
And
I
then you have the
used
day
to
sneaking in your bed.
shower. I used to shower at night, but it would just my hair wouldn't be great.
Mm,
You know, that would be hard to manage.
this is
Also,
true.
like I would, like in the summer, I would get sweaty when I sleep, and then I like feel gross when I wake up. You know, I'm a morning shower because then I feel confident in myself and how I smell and how I feel, and ready to go out and do things.
So instead, you just decide to feel gross as you sleep, always, by
Okay.
not showering before bed.
I don't feel gross when I sleep.
That's because you become used to it.
I don't know about that. Like,
Yeah.
He lives in the filth.
if you were to go to sleep without showering, would you feel gross?
Me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I literally will not go to sleep, specifically in my bed, without showering.
See, I'm simply built different.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's
Built like a
fair.
trash
Maybe
bin.
you just don't sweat. What the fuck? What does
He
that
probably
mean?
just lays in his nest of clothes in the ground. Makes a little rut for himself,
Oh my
lays in
God.
it.
Yeah.
Some sort of animal.
I don't know. I mean, I also wash my sheets every week. I know some people don't do that.
That is true. You do,
And
wash
that's
your
good
sheets every
habit.
week.
Yeah. See, I wash everything every week.
That's fair. How do you feel about wasting all that water, though, huh?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a waste. I'm putting it to good use.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, I think
Also,
it is good.
we
hygiene.
use high efficiency laundry detergent, and we have a high efficiency washer. So
Wow, the planet thanks you.
Oh, yeah, as it should.
No, so all this being said, I know, and this is something I learned. I mentioned it before in one of my snaps, but I only recently learned because one, me being Chinese, I never really stank that much growing up. Even going through good old hormone phases, I never really smelled that bad. And that's something you learn as you grow up, being Asian, that typically Southeast Asian people don't have apocrine glands, which is basically the gland
really?
that, yeah,
The whole gland?
basically not the, well, I mean, it's not like a singular gland.
Well,
Basically, the sweat glands that most
I
people
know
would
it's
have.
not a singular gland, but like they're all
Just one massive,
gland should be
just a pear-shaped gland.
no, but like literally, you just the apocrine glands don't exist. Is that true, or is it like I thought you were like missing some protein?
It does
or
not exist
something.
in severely reduced quantities.
Ah,
So, and you would know this if you watch Asobi Asabase.
I will never watch that show.
No, we'll get you another
anyways.
episode.
Yeah, that's a story for another time. But in any case, so yeah, that's a thing that is found predominantly in is it Southeast? I want to say it's Southeast Asian, or if not a good subset of the Asian population. Let's just generalize in that sense. And that's something that's the reason why a lot of Chinese people really don't need deodorant. There's not much of a need for it. Everyone's supposed to be very neutral.
People say that. I still think a lot of people could do with some deodorant. You can still smell like sweaty. Like I get it. It's not like the same BO that
It's not like a sour smell. It's more like a musky smell.
Yeah,
than anything,
it's like
which
you can still.
it doesn't smell great.
Pleasant, man.
What?
But
Neither sound pleasant.
Exactly. Just wear deodorant.
But
But
I learned another fact only this last week, because I knew about the apocrine gland thing for quite some time. But something I didn't realize is that it also affects earwax generation.
oh, I've heard this too.
Is that a band?
I love earwax
So the same
generation.
exact genetics, or the genetic trait that causes the lack of apocrine glands, also affects the way that your earwax is. In particular, Asian people have flakier earwax, which is what I personally have. And I didn't realize that because I just assumed that was the standard way that everyone else. No one who the hell talks about their earwax other than some weirdos on a podcast. But in any case, I didn't realize that. So as a kid, I remember hearing these stories about American settlers, and when they would travel in the winter, they would sometimes use their earwax as lip balm, which is nasty as hell. But they would do it out of necessity because it was a waxy substance for them.
Right.
But in my head, the entire time growing up, I was like, well, that's weird. Like, did you have to I don't know, moisten it with your lips first to make it like a paste? Like, how do you do it? It's just dry and flaky. And it was only last week, after years of not understanding, I realized oh, ew, they have actual earwax. That's fucking nasty as shit. And I realized that's majority of the world.
Yeah. You want to know another fun, kind of sweat related, fun fact, biology fact?
more biology facts.
Please never say that sentence again.
What do you mean, sweat related?
a fun sweat-related fact.
What?
God,
The
I
sweat,
love
sweat
my
could be
sweat
fun.
related
Look, we're talking about
Oh my god.
Asian sweat. So I'm pretty sure the genes that regulate like how much you sweat, like how prone you are to sweating, are found on your X chromosome. And what this means is that if you're a guy, you get your like how readily and how easily you sweat, probably related to like the density of sweat glands and how like sensitive they are. I don't really know. You get this from your mother, right? Because as a guy, you always get your X chromosome from your mom. Now, if you're a woman, you get an X chromosome from your dad and your mom. And because of X chromosome inactivation, which in case anyone is like not familiar with, or it's been a long time since you heard about this in biology class or whatever, basically means that randomly throughout your body, one of your X chromosomes like deactivates. So in each cell, you have an X chromosome that is either from your mom or from your dad. And what this means is if you're a girl, you may have like parts of your like skin or your body that are more like sweaty than others. Just because of like the random X inactivation and like which chromosome is active in your cells. So basically, the takeaway is if you're a girl and you're randomly sweaty in like certain places, that might be why. Fun fact.
Thanks, Teva. Very cool.
Wow, you sound
I'll be
enthralled.
That entire time you were talking about that, there was just like this stupid little like 2D/3D Punnett square just spinning around in my head. Just in this empty void of space, just twirling around.
Oh my god, dude. Punnett squares are awful, dude. I'm surprised they still even teach it.
It's science. It's cool.
Science. Yeah.
I
So
love science.
that is my fun, sweaty fact.
Mine was cooler.
Yeah, yours was different.
Both of your facts sucked.
All right, Luke, where's your sweat fact?
Hey, shut up, Mr. Probably Not Flaky Earwax.
Dude, okay, also, maybe TMI, but for me, my earwax is like different between the two ears.
Really?
What? One of them is
ear infection?
no. Well, maybe I had a lot as a kid
No.
actually, but like one of them is definitely like drier and flakier, like you describe, Eric, and the other one is like softer. It's like more
Teva.
moist. Yeah,
Harvey Dent-ass motherfucker.
literally.
I'm not sure if I understand. Could you draw me a Punnett square?
Oh my god. Yes. Jesus Christ. Yeah, let me. I'm not editing in a Punnett square. Fuck that. No shot.
God, time for us to compare earwax.
I think
dude.
I'm good.
We literally just at the point where we're like, guys, maybe we should put each other on like our calendars so we can coordinate easier. And that's a big step in like the friendship. Like I feel like a real adult after having that conversation, but I don't think we're at the let's compare and contrast earwax part of the friendship.
I don't know. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
We
So when we going to the baths in Japan, Teva?
the
your
baths
good
in
old
Japan.
buddies,
Oh,
yeah.
you want to compare and contrast something else?
Yeah. What do you like them?
Dude, what? How do you feel about the Japanese onsen?
It was fine.
Honestly,
Worth the hype?
I
I
mean,
would say
worth
there was like a
experiencing.
hype to it. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think there was like a hype
I
to
feel
it.
like there's some hype to it.
There was like some,
Really?
but the hype was like not looking at your like your friends like packing. Like like that
Jesus
was a big
Christ.
part of it.
I think that's what gets a lot of like certainly American tourists is the fact that like, oh, there's no towel, you like go in fully naked.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to call that hype, but for me, I feel like
Yo, that's high.
yo, nice.
Have you
talk,
heard
bro.
about this in Japan? It's so hype, dude.
God.
No, like I feel like there was part of the time was just like, man, how cool it'd be just to like take a bath. Like I don't know, sometimes it's cool. Like for me, I know when I used to do swimming,
Yeah.
that was one of the nice things was just taking a nice hot ass shower afterwards. That felt so good. And
Wait.
even the vice versa of it is taking a shower and then also just dunking yourself in ice cold water.
Okay, one of those sounds much worse. You can take a nice warm shower after like anything. You can take a nice warm bath anytime if you have a bathtub.
Yeah, you can take a nice warm shower first thing in the morning so that you smell good when you go outside.
You can also
Yeah.
just
But like when you shower, there's no fear of passing out from heat stroke.
Is
There's
there a
like
is there a fear? Where is there a fear of passing out from heat stroke?
at the onsens. That's the thing. Like
Oh,
people actually like if you don't watch yourself and you're not careful, you can actually get heat exhaustion from being in there because it's just practically a sauna.
It just sounds like
Ah.
user error to me.
I mean,
user
yeah,
error.
honestly, but if you're not careful, you could die, and
That's true.
that's kind of hype, I think.
So, somewhat related tangent. How do you feel about showering twice a day? Like once in the morning and in the evening?
Okay, now that's a waste of water.
Okay,
I
wait.
used to.
Okay.
Have you before?
Never.
Okay, so I can tell you the reason why I did it, and part of it was just I used it to wake up. I would just take a
Sure.
cold shower in the morning
Oh my god.
just to wake up, and then I realized, damn, my skin hates that.
Oh no.
And you already know I have some dry ass skin, so I stopped that pretty quickly.
That's fair.
I
See,
mean,
what?
also the water where we live is pretty minerally, and that probably doesn't help.
No, we have some very, very hard water. And as well, it is it doesn't have to we're also in a drought, so we also kind of stopped doing that.
True.
Fair.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, no longer. We fixed the 4-year drought in the span of about a month and a half. Which, cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Would you ever do it yourself?
No, I was just asking because I agree with what Luke is saying, which is when you take a shower in the morning, you do smell all nice and fresh, and I get that. But like, I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, I that was part of the reason too, is just smelling good. I think I mainly did this back in like high school when I was a strapping young bachelor and I really, really cared about
As
smelling
opposed to
good.
now, where you're
As opposed to now
He's
where
a strapping, slightly older bachelor.
yeah,
that's very jaded and tired. But something along those lines still, I'm sure. But yeah, I think I cared a lot more about how I present myself back in high school to certain extents.
Hmm.
And a big part of this smelling good. Like I used to put on, I guess you could call it a cologne.
Oh,
Really?
Just
Yeah,
routine. Oh my.
Look, this is when I used to also wear like a faux leather jacket because I thought it was the absolute shit.
Wait, full leather jackets look nice.
Yeah, there's an image of me with you in that, and that does come to mind. But no, honestly, I used to wear that along with like some cologne, and it smelled pretty good. Like, honestly, I like the smell of it. I got
Wait,
compliments
You
for
should
it.
go
Yeah.
back. Yeah, wait, you got compliments?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
From
go
the
back.
from the chick that was crushing on them. That was
What
cool.
the
I was
hell?
like, oh, okay, let's go.
Wait,
That's
so this
kinda
was
sick.
clearly working. Why'd you stop?
Exactly.
I'm
Right.
lazy. It takes too much work.
My man literally figured out the equation. He's like, nah.
I'm sure it was the jacket.
Honestly.
He figured out the equation, and he's like, "Nah, I don't like math."
I mean, like, actually, no. I mean,
Dude.
I had to take math an embarrassing amount of times because I just never did the work.
See, for me, so this happened in like college. Like I had never used any product, never like styled my hair, never like done anything like special to like try and like look nice. And in college, at one point, like I was so annoyed at how much my like hair would like blow in the wind, like into my face. And I was like, I should start using product. And so I got some random product, put in my hair. It looked awful. And then the very first day I go out and do it, one of my friends at the time, she's like, oh, are you using like some product in your hair? But she like says it in like a way where I'm like, she's like, that's kind of like, it looks kind of weird. I'm like, no, I'm not using any product. I would never do that.
Who said that?
Oh my god. What should we call her? We'll call her the penguin.
The penguin.
The penguin. I can tell you more offline.
Right.
I can also just tell you and bleep it, but that's more editing work. So, yeah, it was just like this moment where I'm like very like not confident in my work and like trying something out for the first time, and then immediately getting called out on it and being like, no, I didn't do that. I would never do that. Using product is lame.
Did you do something new with your hair? Parentheses derogatory.
yeah, literally. And I think it stopped me from using hair products for like another few months after that.
Oh my God.
No, I
She sent you
honestly,
to the stage.
Literally, I just felt so insecure.
no, I'm kind of with you on that because that was something I never really did. I was always so afraid of showing any signs of changing I wouldn't say like changing
Yeah.
for the better, but like making a more considered effort to present myself. Because I always feel like people would notice and be like, "Oh, who are you trying to impress?" Like that was always the thought in the back of my head, especially like, well, mainly in high school where there's a lot more social pressure. Now it's kind of like a fuck it, I don't really care.
No, I definitely got that and had that too, where it was like any like change to my appearance, I was worried about like being judged by others and people being like, yeah, like why are you trying to change, or like who are you trying to press, or like what do you think you're doing? Like I was definitely scared of that in like high school.
Hmm. And I think to some extent it does exist a little bit now, but it's like it's more so just like, man, like if my friends notice to start making fun of me for that shit. Like I feel like it's like this weird, stupid fear. It's not even a fear. It's just like I don't want that kind of smoke, you know. I
Yeah,
don't.
man.
I don't.
As soon as I catch you in that fourth pair of pants, it's over.
Fuck, dude.
Dude, I will be
I'm
on the
simping for
lookout.
someone then.
Oh my god. Yeah, whoa, Eric, those jeans look really nice. Who are you talking to?
Is that a fourth pair of pants?
Oh my
Parentheses derogatory.
Oh god. No, legit, like that's just one of those like stupid things where you worry yourself over it. But like if anyone sees you making an effort, like if you see someone else making an effort, you're like, oh hey, good on them. Like they're cleaning up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like at this point I've also like kind of gotten over that hurdle as well, where it's like I've realized nobody is paying nearly enough attention to me for me to like worry about that, and if I want to do something, I should just do it.
So what are you doing next, Teva?
Uh um not much. I'm pretty happy with how I look. So
Okay, all right, all right.
I've made the changes like that I want. I don't know. Are you doing anything radical, Luke?
Yeah. I mean, when I have the money, I do want to get tattoos and piercings. That'd be cool.
Oh shit.
That's honestly, I feel like that pressure to get tattoos has been mounting more and more.
Do you feel like it's a pressure? Because I feel like it shouldn't be a pressure.
Literally,
So it's
no one in
not.
our direct circle has lots of tattoos. So
Yeah. Like, do you
I
mean
don't know
like
where
more
the
like your
pressure's coming from.
desire? Yeah.
Well, because okay, so pressure is definitely not the right word, but it's one of those things where I've always wanted some tats, and
Yeah.
a lot of people at work have tats. And like, damn, I'm reminded again that I have money and I can actually get tattoos now if I wanted to.
I have a story about tattoos, which happened to me. So this was my first year
Oh shit, he's
in
tatted.
Portland. And I was going to basically a neuroscience conference, and at this conference they basically handed out these like cute little like you know, like the tattoos you do when you're a kid, where it's like just like a strip of like whatever thing, you add water
Like
to it.
temp tattoos,
Yeah, like a
right?
temporary
Yeah.
tattoo. And so I basically get a temporary tattoo of like a neuron like right underneath my wrist. And like I Snapchat it jokingly to like a bunch of friends, being like, haha, just got tatted. Like obviously to me, obviously it's a joke. And the amount of like compliments I got back, and people being like, dude, that's so sick, that's so great, I'm so happy for you. Like just people thinking I like actually got a neuron tattoo like on my wrist and it was like real, like made me rethink things. I'm like, damn, will people think I'm way cooler if I get a tattoo? Like I feel like everyone wanted me to get that tattoo.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he's. I
Yeah, you
mean,
should get it.
I
I don't
I'm
want
a
it
fan
though.
of tattoos personally. I'm a huge sucker for like cool tats or just tats in general. So I don't know, dude. I think it'd be kind of cool.
There's just something about the permanence of it that like gives me like huge buyer's remorse fear. Like I don't know.
Yeah, but think about the impermanence of life itself.
No, thank you. I'll continue avoiding that one. Thank you very much.
You know, I used to make this joke frequently.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm gonna live forever. And I made that joke around our friend, let's call him Sea Dog. I made this joke around our friend Sea Dog.
Wait, you can't do that.
This is like literally a trash taste ever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sea Dog. Sure. Whoever.
And
Sea
Sea Dog goes, Luke, you know, I think it's really important that you think about your mortality. I was in denial too for a while, but I thought about it and it really helped me. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
He thought I was being serious. And it kind of messed me up. I stopped making that joke afterwards.
Dude, all it takes is one time. He shook you, dude.
Dude, shook to my core.
Oh
I
God, no. There's legitimately some times where we have to remind ourselves that the way that we joke amongst our friends is not the kind of stuff you want to say in public.
Dude, do you ever run into the situation where you have like joke in your head that is like clearly intended for like friend group A, and then you say it, but you're with friend group B? Like you're
Oh
just like
yeah,
with the wrong crowd for the joke, and you're like, oh, that did not go over nearly as well as I had in
like
mind.
the one big one that I feel like happens a lot in our group. We always say like, if at the very least I'm gonna kick your ass,
Yeah.
or B I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, that's
And
a little
that
more
one
aggressive.
doesn't go over as well.
Oh, really? It
Like
doesn't.
random people, I gotta say.
One of our friends, like he was talking about how in college in like discussions he would say stuff like that like as a joke, and then he realized like, oh, people might be taking me seriously.
And like other people don't say these kinds of things.
Exactly.
It's all about context.
And like I did that one because normally I'm good about that kind of stuff, but I got so comfortable with my group at work that I did that once, and they gave this like whoa, and I was like, oh shit, my B y'all.
You just
I
take
don't
them with
actually want to kill you
I'll
guys,
kill
I
you.
promise.
Wait, I didn't realize how aggressive my vernacular
Yeah,
was
like,
when I
you
just
sit
talked
back,
over.
you say, you're like, oh, huh, that's
Oh,
that's a little crazy, ain't it?
yeah.
Yeah, so it happens a lot, honestly, as far as like in my head. But a few times here and there, it does slip out a little bit. But so far, I haven't had the cops called on me, so I think we're chill. I'm probably not on a
You
list,
always
I would
take
hope.
things to like the logical, like most extremes. You're like, I haven't been arrested for this yet, therefore it's probably fine.
Yeah, I think it's probably fine, dude. Like, you know, if it hasn't gotten to the worst extreme, like, there's no way you could ever get, you know, anywhere close to it. It's fine.
uh,
Fuck it.
fair
This is
enough.
like the tangential cousin to the fuck it mentality, you know? It's
Fucking we
just like
ball.
yeah, fucking we ball.
Yeah.
It's fine. No, honestly though, like, do you have any of those moments at all?
Which moments?
Of the kind of just like, damn, I shouldn't be saying that.
Uh, yeah. Occasionally, I feel like I bust out like a joke, which is
He
just
just
like,
busts.
yeah, yeah, and it just like is in the wrong context. It was like really funny in one context, but then I'm trying to like recreate and reproduce the magic, and I just can't.
Yeah, sometimes you just start telling a story that we're like, damn, that shit was hella funny, and you realize like, you know, I'm sorry. You just kind of had to be there. You just kind of have to leave it like that.
Okay, I have a take, which I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but like in telling a story, I always tell a story worse when someone is there who has heard me tell the story the first time.
I feel like you've told us this
I was
particular
about
story
to
before.
say, I
I
don't know if you're
don't
doing a bit, but you definitely mentioned this last time around.
really. Okay, I wasn't sure, dude. I'm becoming Luke.
See, we're real podcasters now.
Yeah, we're repeating ourselves.
I'm glad Luke was with me and being like, yeah, I think you've mentioned this
Dude,
already.
okay, but it's still true. It's so much harder because I literally know exactly what I said the last time. It's the weight of the expectation of the person who's already heard it once.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you know what? It's fine. Sometimes you'll never meet people's expectations, and that's fine.
wow, deep.
No, like
Luke?
honestly, like damn. Yeah, we're fine. We're doing
No.
okay.
Oh no.
You know, so random tangent. I noticed, I think about, I want to say 2 years ago. I think when I started watching more Twitch streams
Yeah.
was something where I noticed sometimes I refer to myself as we a lot. And I'll be honest, I don't know where that came from.
Have you
I
heard of
only
the
just
royal we?
I have, but
Yeah.
tell me
I mean,
more.
it's the same, kind of the same vibe.
Do you identify as one of Twitch chat?
Yes,
we the Twitch
as,
chat.
as a
chat.
gamer inside of me. No, like I, I don't know. It's something where I just became like oddly self-conscious about anytime I said we, so I just kind of stopped doing it.
I mean, do you think you were saying we because then it feels less like you're calling attention to yourself as a singular I?
Yeah, probably is a diffuse
self-effacing.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
that's exactly what the royal we is. It's like saying we as a veiled, like, this is what I want, but I'm saying we because it makes it seem less like I'm being demanding.
Yeah, I feel like I've done that a little bit, but I think sometimes I shit you not, I think part of it was because I had to send out emails for work.
Yeah, fair.
And because when you go into the pretense of a company, you never say I. you never ever say I. You will always essentially refer to it as, oh, we are here to do
That's
whatever,
so
not you. And
weird
I
to
think
me.
that also affected it as well too. But yeah,
Well, I
and then I
mean-
realized I should probably not do that as much when I'm talking as a normal human being. That was pretty awful. And then I realized I started getting really corporate brained and just business brained, and that was awful. I just want to enjoy my life without having to worry about work.
Oh no.
No, honestly, I think that's my favorite thing about work right now is that work stays at work. Because before this job, all the work that I ever did was stuff I had to worry about personally, and I had to worry about how I was reflecting on myself, worry about how I was reflecting on the business, and it kind of all cycled into each other, right? Where I was the business and business,
Was
relied on
you?
me a lot. Yeah, kind of. Not like that statement really means anything, but
I was the
it
business
was.
and the
I
business
was very
me.
invested into it, right? And I really had to care about the image of the business. Whereas with this job, it's kind of nice finally having just a good old 9 to 5 where it's like, yeah, I don't know, you just do your work, you do as good a job as you can, and then end of the day you go home and you don't have to worry about it. Which I don't know, grass is greener for sure, but it's been really nice, and I've been enjoying it honestly. I just want to brain off and just do my work.
Do you feel like you enjoy like things less in your free times when you're like working 9 to 5 sometimes?
Do you feel like all the joy has been sucked from your
Like,
life?
I don't know. I just had this thought where like I feel like, and maybe this is just like changing and growing with life, but like a lot of the things I used to like and enjoy doing, especially in like let's say like college, it's just like it doesn't like hit the same when you come back from your 9 to 5 and you like try and like like I don't know, like I feel like watching shows, like my bar for entertainment is so much higher now. Like I feel like
So
so many shows like are boring if they
We
don't like
get it.
immediately
You
go.
didn't
I-
like the first episode of The Last of Us.
Time to watch more Asabi Asabasa.
Just trying to subtweet it everywhere I can.
So if we're to actually dissect this a little bit, I legitimately think part of it. So for me, I definitely stopped finding enjoyment in games even before I started working the 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was part of it, is one, because I'm lazy and some games just take effort.
Yeah.
But in addition to, for me at least, and I can only really say for myself, is I guess playing games gave some sense of purpose of like, okay, I play these, sometimes competitive games, and I gives me something to work towards, which is getting better at the game. But now that am working a job where I can take pride in it and find some sense of fulfillment through that, that's where I don't feel the need to play games as much, and I actually kind of enjoy other things more
Mm.
because I have less free time. I feel like that makes me value the small things that I do, either amongst friends or whatever, not a lot more. And sometimes games just doesn't fit within that sphere, and sometimes it does. It really depends, right? But I don't think that it's made me enjoy things less. I think it's just made me prioritize what I do enjoy. I think that's probably the best way to put it. And I think, and Luke may agree with me on this one, I think a lot of that is just kind of hang out with friends whenever possible. And, getting your calendars straight for one. So you can actually find that time.
Dude, the nightmare that was trying to find a time to like record this episode. Just like everyone being like, "Oh, how about this day?" and being like, I'm booked that day." It's like, "Okay, well, how about then?" "Nope, can't do that."
I had to sacrifice D&D time
literally,
for this
like,
today too.
Yeah, we had to like cancel plans to find a time, dude. Being an adult is hard, but I do agree. Like, I really value like spending quality time with like good friends above like most other like social activities, or not social activities, but like leisure activities. And I think the cool thing is a lot of times you can do some of those leisure activities like just with friends, and that like works out best.
Yeah, like I know that's what I've been really enjoying. Like if I do play, I think I play one game now, and it's literally just Teamfight Tactics, and that's
That is
really only
not-
because I get to play.
No, don't
Like-
lie to yourself.
Wait, what else do I play?
No. Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
I would say it's because I get to play that with a friend as well too.
No. You're addicted.
Okay, yeah, probably.
Okay, all right, we're on the same page. All right, yeah. It's nice that you can play with a friend, but you're also addicted.
Yeah, I mean, I have a gambling problem, so it just feeds into that. Like, my God, the
Oh.
dopamine you get when you get those pretty little 3-star.
No, it's
Oh
not.
God.
It's so boring.
What? It's not boring. Look, I feel like if Luke understood it and got into it, he would be all for it. It's just gambling
No.
the simulator.
I feel like
It's
Luke
so
would
sick.
never enjoy Teamfight Tactics.
All right, you know what you gotta do, Luke. I know you're a spiteful enough person.
What do you mean?
Time to play some TFT just to spite Teva.
No.
Or you could
I
not
don't
play
like,
TFT
I don't like
despite.
strategy games. I don't like strategy games.
Really?
Have you ever seen me play a strategy game?
I didn't realize you were so stupid.
Come on, man.
I'm kidding.
Come on.
No, actually, I was talking with a friend at OHSU recently, and she also said that, like, I don't like strategy games, but her reasoning was it's because I get super competitive and, like, upset if I lose, because, like, then it's like a show of, like, skill. Like, if it's like a competitive strategy game against other people.
I mean, I don't know. I like the way that I don't. I feel like I need to check my Steam library now.
Oh my
Most
god.
of the video games I've ever played have been action. Like,
That makes sense.
whether it's a platformer or a shooter. It's like, yeah.
I mean, this guy, when he plays Battle Royales, the first thing he does, he's like a dog. The moment he hears gunfire, he's like, gunfire? Go?
Yeah,
He just
exactly.
runs straight at, like, I get where he's coming from, where he doesn't like strategy, because I'm like, all right, look, if we like hide out and we strategize this way, we can probably eke out a win. You know, he's just like, dude, I just want to go.
Yeah.
He's literally the most ADHD brained out of all of us, which is crazy because I feel like we all have like I feel like every human being of our generation has like some level of ADHD, low key.
This is like another reason why I like don't like strategy games, because it's too much thinking. If I'm playing a game in my spare time, it'll usually be something that is like something I don't have to think so much about, right? Like, I'll enjoy playing like a draft of Magic with friends.
Yeah.
That's like completely different from playing a game by myself for enjoyment, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Eric is right. Maybe I would find simple joy in the optimization and the dopamine of getting a new pack and the, getting luck of the draw from TFT. But I just think that the time invested up front of understanding the strategy of the game would turn me off of it.
It's not that much time.
Dude,
you could figure it out in one night.
It's
I
not.
literally
Just try it. Just try
got
it once.
bored playing Magic Arena's tutorial, and I stopped.
Okay. In your defense, it's pretty dog.
Yeah,
The tutorial's not good. And don't worry, you don't have to worry about that in TFT because there is no tutorial.
that's even worse.
That's fine though. You
I
just,
want to
just
get
raw
thrown
dog
in the
it.
deep end.
I don't know. You love that. You're
Do
tall.
I?
You can stand in it.
Oh my god.
No, I. Do you prefer being thrown into the deep end of things, or do you prefer having instructions laid out in front of you?
Dude, I love a good tutorial island.
I think
What
it
about you,
really
Teva?
depends on the context. I think in fields where I have enough expertise, just fucking throw me in there and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, okay, but if you have expertise, then you wouldn't really need a tutorial, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I think a good example is like board games. So I feel like I've played so many board games, and like many board games are just like the same game with like different skins and slightly different mechanics, that like as someone is like explaining the general rules, like I feel like, okay, I already understand how this game works. We can just go and I'll figure it out. I think for things which I don't know as much about, like it helps to have an explanation. Like various like, I don't know, like a TFT, like there's so many fucking stupid random mechanics and things don't make sense and it's not clear how everything works, that yes, I would need like a tutorial.
But
There was no but.
I don't know why. I was expecting like a follow up statement on
that was the full stop. Yeah.
No, I kind of asked because I know we've kind of talked about this before between us, but for movies, do you prefer to go into a movie knowing what it's about or not knowing at all?
I think the basic premise is fine. I will say I have a twist on this, which is spoilers or no spoilers. as well. That's like an even deeper like level of knowledge. Thoughts?
So I'll say this for me personally is I prefer not knowing a single thing.
Hmm.
And the reason why I was wondering if this kind of coincides because when I play something new, I like to figure things out
Ah.
just by exploring. I typically don't like tutorials that much. I kind of just going like, okay, how does it work? And this applies to, I guess, I realize a lot of things as I'm kind of talking now, as far as like puzzles and mechanical things. I just like kind of fiddling with things until I figure things out. But don't want to get on too of a tangent. Where yeah, as far as movie goes, like for instance, with I think it was, let's say Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Sure.
That was a movie where I went to it knowing absolutely nothing, and
Hmm.
I became like it's not even like one of my favorite. I think it's actually my favorite movie.
Wow.
It's I think one of the movies I part of the reason because I didn't know a single thing about it, it had left a bigger impression
Yeah.
outside of it just being objectively a great movie.
But here's the catch 22 now. Now anyone who has not seen Everything Everywhere All at Once and now goes to see it cannot do that.
Sucks.
Like, but like this is kind of an interesting point for me. I feel like all my favorite like media and everything that I've like consumed that I've like truly loved, I have gone in without expectations or without someone else telling me this is great and you'll love it.
Yeah, I
So
I, I think
Yeah.
definitely.
What you're saying is don't buy the hype.
Well, what I'm saying, yeah, I don't buy the hype, and also spoilers, like or like the weight of expectations of like something being good can definitely affect my viewing experience, and so that's why to like answer Eric's question, like the general premise is fine, but yeah, I would prefer to go in blind as well,
Hmm.
as long as I know I'm committed to watching it. Sometimes I can see like you need the general premise to like make it even worth your time to watch. But if someone is bringing me to something and being like, "Hey, let's watch this," I'm like, "All right, sure, fuck it. I don't need to know anything about it. If you think
Man,
I'll
he
like it."
fucking hated The Last of Us. Jesus Christ.
I can't
Everything I
believe it.
say is just a
I can't
subtweet of
believe
The
it.
Last of Us. I didn't hate it. It was good. It was well done. It was fine. I didn't buy the
Stop what
hype.
you
It
were
was
saying an
he really
hour
went from it was good. It was fine. It sucked. I hated it. He's really just going through all the stages of grief, but like rating this one show for the one episode.
Literally, I'm sure we have friends who are watching The Last of Us that will hear this and be like, "What is wrong with Teva? He's smoking like a reefer. Like he's out of his mind. This show is so
Okay.
good."
I mean, I think another thing about Last of Us is people are saying this is the first time that there's been an actually really good like
Video game.
adaptation of a serious video game.
Mm-hmm.
What defines a serious video game? Like I
Like
guess
Monster
like a
Hunt.
more adult.
like League of Legends, the arcade doesn't count.
Does it
Yeah,
not
but
count?
that's not like an adaptation of the story, which is
Oh, yes.
presented in a narrative game, right?
Ah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair, but just because it's good at that doesn't make it like
Good.
good.
And I agree, but I think the source material is like not bad. So it being a good faithful representation of that definitely kind of lends it to being good. Again, this is all talking out of my ass and what I assume because I have not watched it. So I'll get back to you whenever that happens, maybe a year later. We'll see. But I just think it's one of those things where it is true and there's merit to it being the fact that it is a faithful adaptation and something that's well done and respects the source material. And I think when the source material is good, it lends to it being pretty reasonable.
You
You know,
know?
Unlike other pieces of media that we've consumed that
sorry, go ahead, Deva.
No, all I was just gonna say is that's totally reasonable and fair, and that makes sense, and I get why people are excited. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't buy the hype online. Just go enjoy it yourselves and stop like posting about it. Stop talking about it everywhere online. That's all.
yeah,
Deva tells people to stop having opinions on the internet.
No, I'm kidding. It's fine. I get it. But like for me, it literally does detract from like my enjoyment of the show.
Oh, you're the person who comes in like, oh, this is supposed to be good, is it?
Literally, everyone's talking about it. Yeah, everyone's talking about it. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll watch it. Like, and maybe it will be good. Like, I've only watched one episode, and people are probably going crazy after watching like many. And I'm sure some of the episodes are better than others. But like, you know, It is what it is.
When you're rating things,
Mm-hmm.
I had this thought recently. Like, there's like, classic is like, oh, out of 5 stars, or
Mm.
oh, out of like a 10. When you're rating stuff, what goes into determining what you rate a specific show or media?
Mm. This is really interesting. I think I have an answer, and it is wholly unsatisfactory.
It depends.
That's a good guess. It's just a feeling, man.
Hmm.
It's just a feel. It's just a vibe. Like, yeah, that's a
All
7.
right.
That shows a 7. It just feels that way.
Does it feel that way because it's like holistically as an experience and as what the director envisioned, it's a 7?
Whoa, whoa. We're talking about the
Like,
director. Whoa.
okay, so you're saying this show made me feel a 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
I
think
was just
that's a
curious.
good way to put it. Eric, thoughts?
It's hard for me to say, honestly, because you're gonna have to ask that question again because my brain kind of blanked a little bit. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, say you read a book and you read a book. Okay, never mind.
You're not reading a book.
I read.
You are no longer reading a book.
You put the book away. You're no longer reading the book. You watch a movie.
You're
watch
waiting for a
show.
train.
Yeah.
You don't know where it will take you.
Oh my god.
We're really bringing it. We're referencing that today.
So, you're rating something like media. Either like, okay, out of a 10, what makes you decide where you rate it? Like, what criteria are you using for rating something out of 10? Like, let's say anime. Like,
Yeah.
anime, like series, 12 episodes. You're supposed to give it a rating out of 10. What do you think about when you give it that rating?
Okay, I see. So, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like this kind of follows in that line of, is 5 bad or is 5 average?
That's one aspect of it.
It is
Right.
it is a component, yes.
So for me, when I rate things, I tend to rate it, I would like to say, on a very objective level, but I think I'm kind of with Teva in the sense of, like, I also, being an empath, I tend to follow
Jesus
things that do
Christ.
make me feel to a certain extent.
That's
That's
not
where-
even what being an empath means.
It's completely not, but by all means, I do enjoy something that makes me feel something, but I'm also critical of, do I think it's good just because it made me feel something, right? So it's kind of this mix of, like, do I think it has objective merits to it? Like, let's
Ooh.
say if it is anime, is it objectively well animated? I think that's something where you can actually, I wouldn't say like qualitatively or quantitatively mark, but it is something where you can tell, like, okay, that's fantastically animated, but does it have substance, right? And I know there is a few films out there from some people that we've mentioned before where they're super pretty, but sometimes the substance isn't really there, right? And I feel like I look at things very holistically in that extent of just like, okay, cool, it made me feel these things, but at the same time, the experience of, let's say, shoddy writing detracted from it, right? So, like, let's say, like, Parasite.
Okay.
The fact that it had a real funky soundtrack at the beginning definitely detracted from my experience.
Really? That was a plus for
Bro,
me.
Parasite soundtrack goes so hard.
Okay, it goes hard. It was really that first. So, just a long story short, there was a romance scene in it where just, like, they carried over this romantic music into, like, an intense scene. And it was just really odd, and so there's just really weird sound design choices. And I guess I'm a very, like, detail driven person, so small things like that stand out to me, and it just bugs me, and that kind of goes into my part of my ratings. But yeah, I'd like to say overall, like, very holistic on that end, and I'll rate it kind of as such. And I guess by all that means is pretty objectively, I rate things. I'd say. Kind of thinking on it now.
I feel like you both simultaneously said I rate things pretty objectively, but also very emotionally based on how I feel.
Well, I mean, I didn't say how I rate things.
Oh, how do you rate things, Luke?
I don't know, man.
Oh
That's
my
why I'm
god! What?
asking you
Oh my
guys.
He
god!
wants pointers.
I rate this conversation a 4 out of 10.
I'm having a crisis. I recommended a book to my coworkers. I'm like, man, this is great. This is like a 5 out of 5. And then my coworkers read it and they're like, a 3. It's like a 3. And I'm like, Am I wrong?
Like,
why,
What does
why
any of
did I
that
think this
mean?
was a 5? I don't know.
Okay, so that makes me question. How often, Teva, clear as I know the answer for Luke, Teva, how often are you willing to give a 10 out of 10 to something or 5 out of 5? Full
Um,
marks.
full marks.
Mm.
I feel like it's like a very small percentage of the shows, like maybe like trying to think.
Are you a Yelp reviewer? Is what I'm trying to
Maybe like
ask.
5%
you
of
are you
shows.
Yelp lead?
Right?
I feel like it's just like if the show merits it or not, right? Like if the show like truly
But
blew me away.
what determines if it merits it?
So you guys know that one of my favorite shows for a while there, and you guys can both say it at the same time. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Boku no Pico.
Boku no Pico. No,
Hoseki
Hoseki
no
no Kuni,
Kuni?
Land of the
Okay,
Lustrous.
yeah.
That was a show that I pressured you guys to hell to watch because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'd be lying, excuse me, if I said part of the reason I want you guys to watch is because I had a very big emotional impact to that show.
Mm-hmm.
But also, again, the objective parts of it is one, the actual CG animation was really good on it. And two, still my favorite part of the show is the soundtrack was fantastic.
Okay.
And so that was part of my draws to it. But my recommendation for that show really came from the fact that, yeah, it had like a big emotional impact for me personally. Even then, for that show, like I don't think it's a perfect show. I think there's things that could be better and whatever not.
I think
And
there's no such thing.
Right. So that's where for me.
Oh no, there is. I'm just kidding.
Okay, look,
right,
fine.
well,
You're perfect. We'll say it. I admit it. Whatever. But
Yeah.
by all means, it's hard for me to give like a 10 out of a 10 rating for something. Like I always want to find fault in something, and I don't know if that's just I feel like that's a personal flaw more than anything else. But yeah, it's hard for me to give a full mark to something.
I honestly think because like most media is like art and is subjective. Like for something to be a 10 out of 10, I think it has to like impact or move you or affect you emotionally, like personally. I don't think you can give a 10 to something if it doesn't, because like at the end of the day it just means like, and it doesn't have to just be the story. It could be something like, it could be like the soundtrack literally was just so moving for you, or like the animation and art style, or like certain scenes just like wowed you, or the plot, like characters were like really spoke to you and something about it like touched you in particular. I think then the show's a 10 for you. And I think any rating you give, because I used to deal with this too, which was this like consideration of like, oh, how did I feel about the show versus how good is it objectively? And I think how good is it objectively is the wrong question, because no such thing exists. Like there's no way to truly quantify that. I think you can categorize it as like, this is a very high quality, well-made show. The plot points make sense. Like the music is like pleasant, whatever. But like, I think at the heart of it, what matters is how you felt and how you experienced the show and what your rating is, because your rating is like your perspective, right? Just because I think a show is like a 9 out of 10 doesn't mean I think it'll be like good for you or Luke,
Like a
right?
general audience.
Yeah.
Right?
See, that's the type of like nuanced opinion and perspective that I feel like is so often lost, because people get in arguments about whether or not shows are good or bad, right? And I think what people aren't remembering is when someone's saying a show is good, a lot of the times what they mean is, I really like this show.
Yeah.
You know?
That's all it comes down to, right? It's like,
Yeah.
how did you feel about it?
Yeah, unless we're talking about The Last of Us, which is objectively
yeah, The Last of Us is objectively like decent and fine and not bad at all. Like it's just not a 10 out of 10, I tell you.
No, so the thing I think that people should just do more often is just not give a fuck what other people think. Just if you enjoy something, just enjoy it.
No, I hate the people on the internet who love The Last of Us.
Fuck you for being a Boku no Pico hater, dude.
All right. Thanks, guys. You've made me feel better about now going forwards and adding ratings to my anime list profile.
What? You're so dumb.
Hell.
We're gonna post a link to your anime list profile. I hope you know this.
Dude, I don't use Mal.
You should now. Now you can be in a rating frenzy.
Is this my homework?
Yeah. You should rate every anime you've ever watched out of 10 and give an objective reason why it's that number.
Oh god, I don't think you guys want to know every anime I've ever watched.
What? It's like what? Like 6 shows? Like it's not that bad.
Oh boy.
Who's the biggest weeb here? That's another question I have.
Sorry, who do you think is what?
Who's the biggest weeb? Rank us in weeb.
Oh, it's
shit.
least
easy.
to most.
It's easy. What?
Is it easy?
All right, who's the least?
You. What?
Eric, what's your vote?
Who's the least?
Who's the least weeb?
Oh
Dude.
God. What?
Why are you thinking so much, Eric?
I don't know.
The answer
I'm
was
honest.
so immediately obvious to me.
There goes my headset.
Maybe I could. Anyway.
I mean, like the logical representation would be Luke, but this
Okay.
motherfucker reads manga in physical form.
Yeah, but I also read American graphic novels.
Yeehaw.
It's just an appreciation of the medium.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're that
wait.
person who's like, yeah, Korra wasn't an anime or whatever. Nah, you probably put a lot of stock in that, don't you, huh? Like, you ever tried The Last Emperor? Not an anime. I don't
guess,
know.
How does one define your weeb level?
Well, okay, we won't define it.
Okay.
That makes this discussion so much more interesting.
Okay, fine. We won't. I just know my intuitive, instinctual answer.
So, wait, Eric, you were saying because I have read manga, that makes me more of a weeb.
You've read a lot more manga than I have. A lot more manga than I have.
I don't know if that's true.
No, that's true. Because I don't read that much manga.
I don't know.
The fact that you
can-
finished Vagabond already.
Well, yeah, but that's also just a universally acclaimed series.
Yeah, it is. And you've read a lot more of those than I have.
Does doing things that are not weeby make you less weeby? Like if you're really into anime, but you also like, I don't know, like are really into film, does that lower your weeb score?
Well, I mean, in that, well,
Like
I see
feel
where
like
you're
it
going with it.
justifies your interest rather than it being a specific interest in just anime, right? Like if you like watch all sorts of media, by consequence you might watch a lot of anime, right?
so is it like it's like the percentage anime. It's the percentage weeb.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you could factor that in.
So,
Wait,
do you-
Eric, if I am not the least weeb, then who is the least
Yeah.
weeb?
I mean, like, it's still, I would say, is you.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
just, it wasn't like an immediate, like, oh, it has to be Luke. Like, it gave me pause. But for sake of tune, yes, I would say, sure, you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I also think I'm the least.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah,
Okay,
100%.
who's the middle?
I mean, I know what my answer was, but now I'm having doubts.
I know
Hmm.
you're having doubts.
I'm putting myself at number 2.
So I would probably put Teva at number 2 as well, too. But I feel like Teva talks about anime a lot more than I ever do.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel
How
like
is
it's
that-
more of a
what?
lifestyle for you than it is for me.
What the fuck?
Style.
What?
You're acting like his car has a wrap with a
Oh
wife.
my god! Yeah,
Dude, he does.
dude.
You never
No,
seen this?
does
When's
not.
the last time you saw Teva's
My
car?
car is currently wrapped
my
in bird
God.
poop because
You're right.
God, imagine you actually come back home and it's just wrapped.
No.
It's just like anime titties all over it.
Jesus Christ, I would never see. That's why I think I'm less weeb, because I still know what it's like to be to like understand that parts of anime culture are very cringe,
Hmm.
and I don't act on that because I think I acknowledge and realize that this is like not normal and not how things should be.
I have about exactly 2 friends who probably might take offense to it, but probably are so lost in the sauce they wouldn't.
They can take offense to it, like.
Teva's like, they should be offended.
It's fine. Like I don't like I am all for live and let live and I don't judge, but I also acknowledge that like this is not normal and maybe you should like you should not show up to like a company event with your anime wrapped cartoon like car.
I cannot wait for old geriatric Teva who's just out there making like very dubious statements
What do you mean? What
about like different subsets of people.
what do you
Like,
mean?
I
A
think
subset
they're
of
fine. I
people?
respect them, but I just don't agree with their lifestyle.
I just think you should like show up to like a formal business meeting with like anime titties out. Like, I don't know. I don't think you should like play at a pre-release, a Magic the Gathering pre-release where children are present with like sleeves that have like nude anime girls. Like, I don't think you should do that.
You know,
I was just
I'm
saying,
not-
please have some decorum.
I'm not
Yeah.
mentioning any names, but I do know that there was a friend
I
who
know.
worked at a respectable establishment that did take care of a lot of children. And they definitely had some very loud and proud anime titties all over their car.
Dude, like,
Oh,
And
oh.
their work had to be like, hey,
yeah.
you can't park in front of the building with this on your car.
Oh no.
Good for
Oh
them.
no.
Uh,
Oh
so
no.
I'm with you. There's definitely levels of, yeah, I don't know, maybe don't wear your ahegao like jacket out in public.
Maybe
Or
just
maybe don't
don't
own one in
own one.
general.
Yeah.
A concept.
Don't
but,
support
you
the
know,
people who are
you.
producing this product. Like,
I can't be one to judge other people's clothing options, as we've kind of already, established at the beginning.
fair
of
enough.
the-
No, you
the
can
show,
judge them
but-
for this. I allow it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
by all means, like, yes, there's acceptable things and whatnot. But I feel like for me, it's something I enjoy, but it's not like I'm still very cautious if I ever talk to someone in public and I'm being like, oh, hey, do you enjoy it? Like, I'll never be like, oh, do you also watch anime? Unless I like for sure know they're not a weirdo.
You're like dealing drugs. You're like, hey, do you watch any anime? Like, you got the stuff.
Because honestly, though, like I've talked to a few friends, and they have that issue where occasionally you mention that, and he just goes down this rabbit hole, and sometimes that rabbit hole they never came out of. They are
What do
still
you
lost in the
mean?
sauce.
Like, what's the rabbit hole?
They're fucking weirdos, and they get a little too invested in you because they hear that you share one common interest with them, and that one interest is their entire life.
I don't mean to like judge or assume anything. With that person who is like scared of weirdos, like in that situation, is that like a girl who like enjoys anime and is very understandably
Wow.
scared of like weirdo creepy
It's almost like
guys?
you nailed that right on that.
Yeah.
And that's not just one person either. It's
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
multiple women that I know.
Yeah.
And yes, that comes the issue of like, yeah, men are kind of disgusting and creepy at times. But
yeah.
I also get that sentiment because I'm in that same boat of like, I just don't entirely sometimes want to interact with someone who makes, and we've been through this before, where they just have one singular focus in life. Because sometimes it's a little much. It's a little much for me to handle as well.
I mean, yeah, again, we're multifaceted human beings, and distilling us down to like one interest makes us pretty boring.
If not very scary,
Yeah.
depending on the thing.
Sure, yeah. No, I totally get that, especially like just in general, like, yeah, as a girl having to deal with like creeps, especially in like
Jesus Christ.
the space of people who are like weebs or like really like anime. It's just it is a field that tends to attract people with like poor social skills and like social like ability.
Oh, God forbid you play games and you're a girl.
Dude,
Oh God.
if I feel like if I was a girl, like I would never use voice chat in Valorant. It's just you attract like literally half the time when a girl talks in like Valorant, like someone will say something stupid, like some guy will say something, and you're just like, can you just like act normal, like act like a normal fucking human being?
Oh God, I can't wait to perfect my chick voice so I can just catfish people in Valorant. That's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is going back to like the tangent of like the biggest weeb and everything. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with like when people are like, "Oh, what do you like to do?" I'm like, "Yeah, I like to like I like anime, I like playing video games." Like I just like put it out there, and I don't think it like usually ends up being weird.
You definitely there's a way to read that vibe, and most times if I ever bring it up, yeah, it's just more of a this person's not a weirdo, and like feel like they just enjoy it tangentially, you know.
I feel like you can even be super into it and not be weird at all. It's just all in like the way you present it and the social skills you have with it. Right?
Yeah, if you're able to describe your niche interest in a way that makes it sound interesting to other people, then that's great.
Yeah.
You know?
The moment someone starts talking about how much cooler Japan is, I'm like, okay.
Dude,
Oh my
maybe I am the
God.
biggest weeb though.
Japan thing. Oh,
I love, dude, that is actually me.
Bro,
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
Wait,
Oh, God.
but dude, they got like little individually wrapped mochis. They're so cute.
and
Dude.
he's going back to hating the planet. All that
Oh
plastic
my
use.
god, dude! I
Dude.
recently, yeah, go ahead.
It, oh my God.
Say your
One of
truth.
my coworkers said something along the lines of like, she met someone who's Japanese and she told them she loves manga. And I'm like, oh my God,
Christ.
bro.
Oh no.
Like, oh, that's so cringe.
Dude, that would be like if we met first day. You're like, yeah, I'm Luke. I'm half Korean. I'm like, dude, I love kimchi. I love what your people have
Dude.
done. Like, what
Korean
the fuck?
op.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Bro, come on.
Like legitimately, I see that kind of stuff happen from time to time. Like we talk about microaggressions
Yeah.
because that actually, like that shit. When you see that happen, you don't feel like, damn, you need to stop talking right fucking now.
Yeah, the person was very unapologetic about it too, and I was like, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just it's uncomfortable for everyone involved except for that person. Because I remember one time someone asked me like, "Oh, hey Eric, what's your favorite Chinese restaurant?" I'm like, "Why the fuck are you asking me of all people?" Like, the worst part is,
Yeah.
Chinese people don't go to Chinese restaurants that much. They just cook that shit at home.
Exactly.
That's true. That is true. To
Like,
be fair,
I actually
Oh,
go to
man.
so few Chinese restaurants. I think I go to all of 3.
I get why people like will ask that question though, because it is not universally true. And for many cultures, if you go to a place and like they're like of that like culture, they'll be like, oh, I know where the best restaurant of this cuisine is because I, you know, am more familiar with this kind of food and I can taste it and be like, oh, this place is good and this place is not. So I understand why people would ask that question. You just pick
There's
like the worst
tact.
example. Yeah.
And like, I
Yeah.
think tact is a very important
It's
thing.
huge, yeah.
Yeah,
Because for
there's-
me,
yeah.
like, if I can tell someone likes food, right? And I like kind of get into that, you know, we're like, I'm kind of curious what they like eating, right? I'll be like, yeah, I know. I've tried out like, oh, this place is recently, oh, like, and this new like Mexican place to open up or whatever, not, right? And if like they're Mexican, I'm like not gonna be like, hey, what's your favorite? You know, I would like start with like what I've enjoyed recently, and then maybe ease into if I'm curious, right? Like, there's ways to go about things, but just like go up to someone and be like, hey, look, what's your favorite Korean restaurant? Just like,
Yeah, I
Yo,
mean,
what's the best Korean in town, man? You would know, right?
yeah. I mean, hey, like, if you, it also depends on how well you know the person,
Yeah.
mhm.
like that level of comfort, like, and familiarity. Yeah,
And you know, in my example, I didn't like this person already.
I'm sure that, yeah, that probably does not help.
And that did not help things. But yeah, it's just one of those things where there's definitely ways to go about things in a socially acceptable manner. And I get it. Like, there's a certain amount of understanding where, especially if people aren't used to certain cultures and you are genuinely curious, like, it's like, sure, I'll entertain it. And I'm not like, oh shit, yeah, this mic. I'm like, I'm not like huge on that. But by all means, again, there's levels to it, right? And it's about how one you approached it and are you like genuinely curious? Because if you're genuinely curious, like, yeah, I love food. I always want to share these different things. But even just beyond food, right? Like, just going back to the whole idea of like cultures, whatever, not like,
Yeah.
there's just a fetishization as well too, especially with things like Japan. Like,
Yeah.
that is probably one of the most fetishized countries, I wouldn't say in the world, because different cultures around the world have
Different cultures
really
fetishize
specific
different
life.
places. Like, I
Yeah,
forget where it is.
Everest
but-
syndrome for
yeah.
Japanese people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's like some really, really funny ones, but I think just overall, obviously, because we live in America,
In the States, yeah.
my fucking god, there's a lot of people who just adore Japan to like a very uncomfortable extent.
What?
Yeah.
And man, it's uncomfy at times. But you know, I still read those comments because I'm a glutton for things that make me hurt.
Bro, you just love cringe.
Dude, I just love cringe.
It is
It's my
crazy.
guilty pleasure.
I have, I think, the lowest cringe tolerance of anyone I know.
I have pretty low cringe tolerance.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
Luke
that's
is
true.
actually lower. You're right. Your cringe tolerance is lower. Mine is so bad I could not watch The Office.
Oh, okay, maybe mine.
Maybe I was
mine
about to
might-
say,
yeah.
I was gonna say, because I know Luke, when he tried showing me The Office years ago, I was like, I don't know if this is my kind of thing. Granted, early stage Office, not that great.
Yeah, season 1. Oh God, I hate that I'm saying this. These are the Office apologist talking points. Season
Oh.
1, not that good, but it picks up in season 2.
It's literally
Yeah,
what
you
everyone
definitely
told me,
made us
but I
watch
couldn't
season
get.
1.
I couldn't get past season 1.
No,
Yeah.
I get that. But yeah, all that being said, I don't know. Like, I'm probably the biggest weeb of the bunch,
I think so.
Yeah.
but Teva creeps up on that from time to time where he's like, oh man.
Teva's legacy weeb though.
Legacy. What does that
Yes.
mean? What
Yes.
does that mean?
No,
Dude,
I know what he means.
I would talk to you about something freshman year of college, and you'd be like, "Dude, that's really cool. I'm watching this anime that really touches on the same subject."
What? Dude, I can't believe I was just opening up to you, sharing my interest, and you're like, God, this fucking weeb.
Okay, so I guess if you want to put it this way, do you find someone more of a weeb if they watch more of the mainstream stuff, or if they watch more of like the off stuff?
Yeah,
It depends on their relationship with the media as a whole. That's what it comes down to, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
I agree in the sense that like you can have like obsessive, like let's say like Demon Slayer or whatever, like it's like the popular hot new show fans that are like, you are very weeby. But I think a lot of times like the niche shows, like it's like a different type of weeb.
Bochi
Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, yeah, 100%, right? And that's where, again, everything kind of comes in layers. And I feel like Teva would more inhabit that mainstream weeb.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like for me, I'm kind of like, I don't watch as much of the mainstream stuff. I watch kind of the more like, I wouldn't say weird shit, but just more of the stuff that is just more of the stuff that I'm interested in, which isn't as mainstream.
Dude, you're such a weeb. You're an elitist weeb.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
Dude, I
Oh
am.
my god.
No, if I am one, I'm definitely that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
oh
ugh.
man.
You're like, oh, that mainstream garbage. Dude, it's mainstream, like, some of it is mainstream because it's, like, hype and, like, easy to watch. But, like, I like a lot of, like, the more, like, exciting, thrillery, like, deep plot shows, too. They just don't come out as frequently.
Did you ever watch Sunny Boy?
No, it's on my to-watch list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a lot of those that come out. Maybe you just don't like watching those that much. Maybe you just follow the hype.
A
Ooh.
lot of times the hype is right. Except,
Until...
when it comes to The Last of Us.
It always full circle.
Anyway, it's we've been talking for a while. I think that's should be the Last of Us for this episode.
Oh, good one. Love that for us.
Welcome to the Teva and Friends podcast, by the way.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
episode
there's our intro.
number 4.
Episode 4.
Ooh.
Intro and outro, same thing this week.
I have no idea what I'm gonna title this one, dear lord.
Derogatory.
Oh god.
Parentheses derogatory.
This episode is parentheses
derogatory.
Oh my god. Yeah. All right. What do we have anything to tease our viewers? Is there anything we can like finger them with?
Give us your questions, all of them.
Yes.
We're gonna start. Maybe we'll give it a couple weeks of asking or having questions open, but after that we will start answering them.
Yeah.
Ask anything.
Okay, maybe not like that.
Not anything. We
You
won't answer. I mean, you can ask. We won't answer
Yeah,
everything.
ask anything.
I will.
Okay, ask Eric anything. Ask the rest of us normal, like humane questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
so,
ethically source these questions and we'll get back to them.
yeah.
If you had to put down one, put down eat or fuck.
Oh my! Wait!
Oh,
Whoa!
These are your options. I'm sorry, buddy.
All right. Well, hey, everyone, thanks for listening. It's been great. It's been real. Take it easy. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.